copy courtesy of Elden Pixels. In a market where retro video games made with pixel art are more current than ever, it's easy to think that every new launch is just more of the same. Only those willing to offer a more robust experience are able to stand out. Alwa's Awakening is an adventure platformer imbued with such passion for the 8-bit golden age that is capable of transporting the player not just to a new magical land filled with secrets, but it also manages to feel like a bona fide 90s classic, straight out of an ancient time capsule that was dug up today. This passion project, started in 2014, comes from Elden Pixels, a Swedish game development studio composed of only 4 members. Robert Creasy, music artist and composer that likes anything retro. Michael Forslund, designer with business and marketing knowledge obtained from his experience working for other well-known Swedish studios like Image & Form, authors of the SteamWorld game series, and Zoink, with titles like Faye, Stick It to the Man, Zombie Vikings, and Ghost Giant under their belt. Kevin Anderson, programmer, in charge of bringing their ideas to life, and Alexander Berggren, pixel artist and Sega games enthusiast. They could hardly imagine how much would their initial idea of making a highly challenging platformer, not unlike BattleKit, changed so much during the years of development, ending up with this adorable adventure, whose DNA now has distinctive traits from other NES classics like Battle of Olympus from 1988, Solstice from 1990, and of course Zelda 2 from 1987. In 2016, it turned out to be the main reason for the creation of their very own game development studio, Elden Pixels, meaning fire pixels in Swedish, and it became the cornerstone of a new era for their game development careers. It came out on PC in 2017 and recently made its debut on home consoles, PS4 and Nintendo Switch. Alwa's Awakening's retro-style aesthetics go beyond the pixels, backed up by its gameplay that manages to do just enough to honor the past, while adding refinements to keep up with current times. And its music, with tracks that break out of the game and stick with you the rest of the day. Elden Pixels takes its 8-bit motif seriously, offering the complete vintage experience by including a game manual in PDF format straight out of the late 80s, brimming with story bits and concept art about its enemies, stages, and characters. The soundtrack can be obtained in multiple formats, starring a gleaming NES cartridge, with its own original box and artwork to entice collectors. It can even be downloaded in ROM format to be played on NES emulators. The story that gives this adventure a purpose doesn't stray much from what we're accustomed to. In a tranquil land called Alwa, peace is threatened when a powerful warlock called Vicar invades, seizes control over their magical ornaments, and puts in place his 4 protectors: the Sea Monk, the Beholder, the Vicious Keeper, and the Crimson Guardian, to rule with an iron fist, crushing everyone who dares to oppose him. Eventually, Alwa's inhabitants give up, losing their will to fight back. As a last resort, they decide to summon a savior, Zoe, a youthful video game enthusiast who is magically teleported from the world we live in to the land of Alwa. She'll be aided by the Resistance members in her mission to wield a magic staff, recover the magic ornaments, and mount a counter-offensive against Vikar's dark forces. Exploration is the key word in this adventure. The world comes to life screen by screen, splitting the journey in what feels like a series of tiny puzzles, willing to be solved by the player. In this case, the enemies almost become an extension of the terrain, as if they were just an extra environmental obstacle to take into consideration. Combat is not flashy nor frenetic, but cerebral, asking you to think carefully about when and how to kill each one, and with which weapon, to get the most out of every situation. The more powers we unlock, the more paths we are able to follow. The level design hits to the Metroidvania style, always thinking of new ways for the players to find quicker routes to move around the map, connecting every section of the land with shortcuts, secret passages, and more. In regard to the amount of available mechanics and powers, the game shows self-restraint, perhaps to stick to its intent to create a game just like they were on the NES era, whose memory was much more limited than current games. There's a small quantity of attacking options, ranging from hitting foes with your magical staff to being able to fire magic projectiles after you unlock certain powers. There's no double jump either. However, those limitations are compensated with the flexibility given by the combination of the abilities at hand, designed to be used in tandem according to each occasion. Similarly to titles like Trine, you are able to manufacture magic blocks to be able to reach higher structures or even crossing bodies of water. Nevertheless, the unforeseen star is the ability to fabricate bubbles, that in the end literally become elevators, leaving the door of exploration wide open. The enemy roster is vast, providing an ample span of challenges for every occasion. Different sorts of slow crawling creatures are prevalent in every stage, like the crystal spiked lizards found in some underground sections. Living trees and eyeballs with wings will also hunt you down. This wouldn't be a fantasy adventure game without having skeleton warriors and different types of evil mages. However, the gargoyle heads built into the walls are by far the most bothersome. Their national pastime is ruining our day by taking away our chance to use our beloved bubble, or filling the screen with fireballs while we try to make a particularly tricky jump. The land of Alwa is broad and packed with secrets, from the intricate underground temples like the Celon Depths and the Shrine of the Sea Monk, displaying numerous traps and hurdles among caves and stone walls, to formidable tall structures like the Void Tower with its pitfalls, deserted villages and cemeteries. A clear invitation for those explorers that reveled, scrutinizing every single pixel. During her journey, Zoe will find many dwellers willing to share clues about hidden places, pointers concerning the boss fights, and even hints that break the fourth wall and go beyond the game. One of the most captivating ones is a legendary magical word that turns out to be the password for a secret website. Those fortunate enough to solve the mystery will uncover a treasure filled with behind-the-scenes content called the Book of Zoe, turning out to be a sort of dev blog sharing stories relating to the game's origin, containing screenshots and concept art among other goodies. Orbs are the paramount objects to collect. There are 99 in total, scattered all over the map. Some are clearly visible and others are very well hidden. Accumulating them allows Zoe's powers to increase concretely against the 4 protectors, and even Vicar himself. This comes in the form of a handicap at the start of every boss battle, where a portion of hit points are taken away from the boss, depending on the number of orbs in your possession. Likewise, there are other concealed elements that become vital to increase the potency of our abilities, increase our hit points, and more. Every boss represents a particular challenge. Even though at the beginning they all look alike, when the battle comes, they are able to take different shapes, ranging from giant spiders and sea creatures to huge living sculptures, exhibiting individual powers and patterns. It doesn't take long for the projectiles to fill the screen. Others won't hesitate to rely on their acolytes. And just like when facing each of the stage's challenges, everything comes down to learning how to adequately combine the available powers to come out victorious. But the strategy must be coordinated with quick reflexes. The difficulty level has its ups and downs. The aid coming from the orbs before every boss fight is refreshing in the case of the toughest ones, but it also turns the easiest ones into absolute wimps. Even though it takes inspiration from the 8-bit adventure classics, not a single boss battle turns out to be as punishing as the hardest found in legendary NES, Castlevania, or Ninja Gaiden titles. It particularly came as a surprise that after everything we faced along the way, the final battle was not as tough as we thought. Without getting into spoiler territory, we can say that the ending is unexpected, it provides an interesting subject for future conversations, and also serves as a hint for Elden Pixel's future projects. Alwa's Awakening offers a well-rounded retro experience. From its aesthetics to its gameplay and Easter eggs, it'll take explorers on a high-quality 8-bit adventure, bestowing hours of fun to both those who spent their childhood besides an NES and those curious new gamers aching to traverse a magical world with a vintage touch. Its moderation in some aspects of its story and gameplay could make us feel that it fell short, but it also paves the way for a lot of improvement and compels us to dream about what they'll be capable of doing with their next games. In the end, we get a very entertaining and charming adventure, worthy of being enjoyed for a long time. Thank you for joining us. If you like this video, give it a like and share it with others. Your support inspires us to create bigger and better content. Join the Chutakoopas community in this journey through the infinite gaming world. Leave your opinions in the comment section below. We would love to know what you think and start a conversation with you. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and our main site, chutakoopas.com. Looking for gaming t-shirts and hoodies? Visit our virtual Teespring store, Welcome to Chutakoopas, and you'll find tons of designs for you. We'll attach the link in the description. Take a look at the rest of our video gallery. We have podcasts, shows, and Let's Plays waiting for you just a click away. See you around, and don't ever stop playing.